Martin Scorsese's legacy goes far beyond directing. As one of cinema's most passionate preservationists, he has used his global influence to save endangered masterpieces from every corner of the world. One such film is Comedy, a little-known 1979 Malayalam-language fantasy from Indian filmmaker Govindan Arvindan. Thanks to restoration efforts by Scorsese's World Cinema Project, this spellbinding piece of Indian parallel cinema is finally receiving the attention it deserves. Why Scorsese championing comedy matters. Scorsese's admiration for comedy isn't incidental. It reflects his deep respect for cinema that transcends spectacle and dives into spiritual and visual storytelling. Much like his appreciation for Satyajit Ray's Pather Panchali, Scorsese values films that slow down, immerse viewers in culture, and tell stories through atmosphere as much as plot. In 2022, while promoting Comedy's restoration, Scorsese described the film as a sweet and engaging story and a visually stunning film. Comedy is a must-see. This praise helped introduce Comedy to global audiences unfamiliar with Indian regional cinema, especially Malayalam-language films that often remain overshadowed by Bollywood. A magical tale told in whispered tones. Comedy centers on a folkloric figure, part wizard, part Pied Piper, who drifts into a small Kerala village. The titular character, played by Ambalapuza Ramuni, uses song and charm to befriend the village children. With a mix of joy and unease, he enchants them and, in a moment of magical mischief, transforms them into animals. When he leaves the village, one boy, Chindan, remains trapped as a dog. The second half of the film follows Chindan's journey in this form. He is eventually taken in by a wealthy family, only to be treated as disposable when he falls ill. When he is finally restored to human form, his first act is freeing his pet parrot, a quiet moment of deep emotional resonance and a metaphor for his hard-earned empathy. Visual poetry over exposition. Govindan Arvindan, one of the leading figures in India's parallel cinema movement, directs with deliberate patience. There are no explosions or fast edits. Instead, Arvindan uses long, meditative shots of the Kerala landscape, letting the natural beauty and village rhythms unfold before the viewer's eyes. His storytelling leans on suggestion rather than explanation, offering a fantasy grounded in realism and folklore rather than CGI and lore dumps. This technique is reminiscent of Satyajit Ray's works, but Arvindan's style is even more minimal. His use of masks, folk music, and nature creates an almost ritualistic tone, a cinematic trance. Comedy doesn't just tell a story, it casts a spell, a parable about freedom, innocence, and nature. At its heart, Comedy is a film about freedom and empathy, ideas communicated through image and experience rather than moralizing dialogue. Chindan's ordeal as a dog teaches him the cost of captivity. His release of his parrot mirrors his inner transformation, making this small fantasy tale a deeply human fable. The film subtly critiques modernization and societal change. Without overt statements, it celebrates harmony with nature and the innocence of traditional village life. The masks, the songs, the dances, all are rooted in Kerala's folklore and rituals. This anchoring in local culture is what makes the film so specific and yet so universal. A legacy preserved. The fact that Comedy had faded into obscurity before being rescued speaks volumes about how fragile cinematic history can be. But thanks to Scorsese and the Film Foundation, this remarkable work is now restored in 4K and shown to a new generation of cinephiles. It's not a film for everyone. Its slow pace and lack of conventional action may not appeal to modern audiences used to high-energy storytelling. But for those willing to immerse themselves in its meditative rhythms, Comedy offers a cinematic experience like no other. Lyrical, mysterious, and emotionally profound. Why Comedy remains essential today. More than 4 decades after its release, Comedy is more relevant than ever. It speaks to the value of preserving culture, the power of simplicity in storytelling, and the importance of understanding freedom through empathy. It's a rare film that rewards patience and reverence, not just for the medium, but for life itself. In an era where fantasy often means green screens and billion-dollar budgets, comedy is a beautiful reminder that the greatest magic can come from a song, a mask, and the wide-eyed wonder of a child running through the woods.